The city shimmered, a dazzling display of lights and reflections that masked its true nature, a mirage of glass and steel piercing the night, creating an illusion of prosperity and peace. But beneath the dazzling facade, a different city breathed, one filled with secrets and shadows. A city of shadows and whispers, where the underworld thrived in the dark corners. This was the domain of the ghost, a figure cloaked in mystery and power.
He surveyed his dominion from a perch high above, a silent guardian of his empire. His eyes, cold and calculating, missed nothing, always watching, always planning. He saw the flow of illicit goods, the movement of corrupted officials, every transaction under his control. The ghost understood the language of the streets, the unspoken rules that governed the night. He knew the rhythm of power, the ebb and flow of influence and control. The city was his chessboard, a complex game of strategy and dominance. Every flickering neon sign, every darkened alley represented a pawn in his game, a piece to be moved. And the ghost was a master player, anticipating every move, controlling every outcome. He anticipated every move, controlled every outcome, ensuring his dominance remained unchallenged. This metropolis, a beacon of future progress, was built on a foundation of secrets and lies. The gleaming towers, the technological marvels, all financed and controlled by a hidden network of crime and corruption. This was the world the ghost had built. This was his legacy, a city shrouded in shadow.
The ghost wasn't one man, he was an idea, a whisper in the corridors of power. He was the embodiment of the global criminal network.
Their tendrils reached into every facet of society. Finance, media, politics, all danced to their tune. They controlled the flow of information, manipulating the very fabric of reality. Their power was absolute, their reach invisible. They were the puppet masters and the world, their stage. Politicians were their pawns, corporations their puppets. The masses remained oblivious, blind to the strings that controlled their lives. The ghost preferred it that way. Silence was their weapon, anonymity their shield.
The global criminal network wasn't about petty theft or violent crime. Their ambitions were far grander. They sought control, domination.
Their wealth flowed through every artery of the global economy. They manipulated stock markets, rigged elections, and silenced dissent with ruthless efficiency. Information was their currency. They controlled its flow, twisted its meaning, and used it to shape the world in their image. They were the architects of chaos, the engineers of fear. They thrived in the shadows, pulling the strings, watching the world dance to their tune. Their power was absolute, or so they thought.
Section 4. A silent coup. The takeover had been so subtle, so gradual that most hadn't even noticed. It was a masterclass in deception, a slow erosion of freedoms that went largely unchallenged. One day, the world woke up in chains, controlled by an unseen enemy. The realization hit hard, but by then it was too late for most to react. But every empire, no matter how powerful, had its cracks. These cracks were the seeds of hope, small but significant. Whispers of dissent began to surface. In hushed tones and secret meetings, the seeds of rebellion were sown. A flicker of rebellion in the eyes of the oppressed. The fire of resistance was igniting, slowly but surely. The global criminal network, drunk on its own power, had grown complacent. They believed their control was absolute, their power unchallenged. They hadn't accounted for the human spirit, the indomitable will to break free. The desire for freedom was stronger than any chain. From the ashes of their hubris rose a spark of defiance. This spark was the beginning of a revolution. An informant, codenamed Phoenix, emerged from the shadows. Phoenix was a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance. Driven by a thirst for justice, Phoenix had been silently feeding information to a clandestine organization determined to dismantle the network. The fight for freedom had begun. Section 5. The Seeds of Rebellion. The betrayal cut deep, like a knife twisting in the dark. The ghost felt a surge of anger, a cold fury at the audacity of this Phoenix. His mind raced with thoughts of vengeance. They had underestimated their enemy, a mistake that would cost them dearly. Now, they were paying the price. The streets echoed with the cries of the wounded and the fallen. The city, once a symphony of order under their control, descended into chaos. Flames licked the night sky, casting eerie shadows. Open warfare erupted. turning the urban landscape into a battleground. The air was thick with smoke and the sound of gunfire. The network fought back with ruthless efficiency, but the seeds of rebellion had been sown. There was no turning back now. The Ghost watched as his meticulously crafted empire began to crumble. His heart ached with a mix of rage and sorrow. He knew this was only the beginning, the first chapter in a long and bloody saga. A new war was brewing, one that would test the limits of their resolve and their strength. A war for the soul of the city, for the future of freedom itself. The stakes had never been higher. The Ghost, ever the strategist, began to plan his next move. His mind was a whirlwind of strategies and counter-strategies.